Hey everyone, I'm going to take a look at the European national team selection. I've just done a review of the worldwide one. That's now live on the channel if you want to check that one out. As always, I'll put timestamps in the description for each player. So if there's a particular player you want to hear about, click on the description and there'll be a link to take you straight to them. So, 11 players in the pack. No 4 stars this time, they're all 5 stars. Let's have a look at who we got and we'll start with the lowest rated. That is Perišić. So, we've got a cross specialist. Not a particularly common playing style. There aren't too many good cross specialists that come around. Is this a good one though? He's kind of alright, but the thing with this guy is that if we go to the boost straight away, fully boosted, as you can see, yes, he's got some decent attributes on the left here, especially with his crossing, but for a winger, 78 speed is not great. He is getting on a bit, that'll be why, but I think most people would like their wingers to be quicker than that, so it's a bit of a concern. Using this guy as a winger, especially with a cross specialist playing style and good crossing, you're going to basically have a winger in the style of a kind of Beckham type of winger where there's no real pace about him. He's not going to be dribbling past defenders or anything. He's just going to be all about his end product. So as that type of a winger, yeah, he looks decent. So like I say, with that lofted pass 91, we go down to the skills here. He does not have scissors paint, that's an error on eFootball Hub. He does have long range shooting though, so long range drive and long range shooting along with rising shots, accurate finishing. He's got some finishing ability. Heel trick's a nice one. Pinpoint crossing though, that's the key. He's also a super sub. Always nice to have a super sub. But yeah, looking at the abilities, he has got some really good crossing on him. The curl's not amazing at 78, but it's decent. But lofted pass 91, kicking power 92. He's definitely got a cross on him. He's also very two-footed, so he could play on both wings. On the ball, not amazing. Not an amazing dribbler by any means, but tidy enough technically. He's got good attacking awareness as well. The low pass is okay for a wide man at 83. And yeah, great crossing. Finishing at 73. He's got the shooting skills to back that up, but it's still not too high, so I'll be careful with his shooting. Don't try anything crazy. But yeah, that's the one concern with this guy. Not got much speed, so as I mentioned, he's going to be the type of winger he's going to hog the touchline, or hug the touchline, whichever word it is. He's going to stay out wide. He's going to look to get into crossing positions to put crosses into the box, and he does have the ability to do that. It's just that speed that's the concern, really. There's been previous versions that are quicker. This is, sadly, it's on a par with the lowest rated special versions of Perišić we've had, so it's not the most exciting card. It's not by no means the best version of him. It's some way off that, but yeah, if you don't mind the pace, he could be a very effective winger for you with that cross specialist playing style. But that's pretty much the only way he's going to be good as a winger, though. He's quite limited in that regard. In terms of the other way you can use him as an SS, I'm not sure I'd do much with his training points. It's the same with that wide. If you were going to try and get his speed up, where are you going to take the points from? Are you going to sacrifice some of that crossing ability when that's the thing he's best at? No. You're going to make him worse on the ball. He's not that brilliant on the ball as it is. There's not really any way you could afford to take the points away. So as an SS, yeah, I would like that low pass to be better. He does not have one-touch pass and through passing, which I would like in those positions behind the attack. He does have a bit of shooting ability. One thing that's interesting with Perišić, he's got heading, he's got acrobatic finishing, and that jumping goes up to 80. So for a guy who's 6'1", as an SS, he could be getting the end of some crosses for you. Could be decent from crosses. Quite an interesting one. Also, when he's playing out wide, it's not necessarily the way most people want to use their wingers, but if he's quite tall and decent in the air, playing high balls out to him on the wing, if your opponent's got quite a small fullback, could be an effective way of picking your winger out and getting him on the ball. But yeah, as an SS, could be getting the end of some crosses for you. Good attacking awareness in that position. Fairly tidy on the ball. Like I say, I would like the passing to be better. I'd especially like him to have one-touch pass and through passing. The lofted pass won't really come into it in that position so much, but he's got a bit of shooting ability. And the pace isn't quite so important there. Kicking power is good. Even though his finishing is not so high, with good kicking power, that will help with the shooting. And yeah, like I say, he could get in some crosses. So yeah, he's got some qualities. As an SS, I don't know. I've got a version of him that's a whole player. I've used him at SS. He's quite decent. So maybe this one will be decent there. He's not as good as the previous versions, but he's got some qualities. He's just got some limitations, whether you use him out wide where he's supposed to be or as an SS. But if his strengths are the kind of strengths that work for you and they fit in with the way you play, you use him to those strengths, he could be an effective one. It's just he's not got a great deal beyond that. So he's a little bit limited in some ways, and he is one of the lower rated versions we've had of Perišić. But if you don't have a good version of him, and if his strengths are things that work for you, he could be a decent one to pick up. Next up, we have Grealish, and sadly, it's the same story in terms of previous versions. We've had a bunch of featured versions of Grealish in the past, and this is on a par with the lowest rated ones, so it's not a great version of Grealish compared to those previous ones. It is still a pretty decent card in itself though, as you can see, and as you would expect with Grealish. He's pretty tidy on the ball, his passing's decent, depends how you use him. You can play him wide left, or you can play him attacking midfield as well. His tackle minus is decent at 82, finishing not so great, pace not brilliant. We'll hit that boost to see how good he can get fully boosted. So again, very nice on the ball there. And he does have decent passing. If we look down at the skills, he's missing long range curler from here. He does have long range curler, but sadly, and quite importantly, he does not have through passing. So a few skill moves for the dribblers, a couple anyway. Dipping shot, and we've got one touch pass, we've got weighted pass, outside curler, some nice ones there, but through passing is a big miss. So if you get this guy, certainly if you're going to play him as an attacking midfielder, I think through passing would be the first skill you'd want to put on him. It's good that he does have long range curler, especially if you play him on the left. In terms of how you train him, it depends where you want to use him. If you're going to play him wide left, I think a bit more pace would be important. So you could maybe scrimp a few points from his dribbling. He's got one on defending. I'll nick that back from there. And he can just go straight onto lower body, get 2 extra on his speed. Would I do much more? You could if you're playing him wide left, I think you could take all those points of passing actually. Could you do much else? Not much else. One more on his lower body. Maybe just stick one back on passing, I guess. Yeah, I think wide left, I'll probably do something like that. So we've made him a bit quicker there. I think that's important, playing on the wing. He has a creative playmaker playing style, so he's not going to be too aggressive with his forward running. I don't personally like that playing style on a winger. I like my wingers to be bursting forward as much as possible, get into good positions. A playmaker will hold back a little bit more. They will make attacking runs, just not so much. So yeah, just keep in mind that playing style. But yeah, wide left, regardless of the playing style, you need a bit more pace. Still got good balance, good stamina. Still very nice in the ball, on 90 plus there. Still good attacking awareness. The passing not so high out wide, but it's not as important out wide. Finishing 74, I'd like it to be a bit higher, so be careful not to ask too much from with his shooting. Good curl though, and he does have long range curler, so you should have a decent long range curler on him. And then if you want to play him through the middle, the speed is no longer quite so important. How good can we make his passing? Oof, straight up to 90. I'll probably just do that, to be honest. Put those points straight back onto passing, so now 90 for low pass. Even with 90 on low pass though, if you're going to use him as an attacking midfielder, put through passing on him. Very, very important. If you gave this guy through passing along with one touch pass and weighted pass, he's got outside curler as well. Could be a really nice playmaker as an attacking midfielder. All these 90 plus here on the ball with his passing, good attacking awareness, finishing not too bad. Be careful with it. You can shoot though. Pace not quite so important as an attacking midfielder. I think that's fine. Good balance. Yeah, it's a pretty good card in itself. If you like Grealish, if you like a creative playmaker, depending whether you're using him wide left or through the middle, it could be a good card to pick up. But like I said, the one real disappointment with this card, apart from the fact he needs through passing, it's just the fact that he's on a par with the lowest rated out of all the special versions we've had of him. So disappointing in that regard, but in itself, it is a pretty tidy card. This one's an interesting one. So now we have Guerreiro, plays for Bayern nowadays. We've had a few different versions of Guerreiro in the past. We had a 91 rated Player of the Week card. This one is better than that, goes to 93. We've also had a couple of other ones. One was a nominating contract one. The other one I think was from a Portugal pack. One of those went to 92, one went to 94. This one is not as good on the ball. Some of these technicals aren't as good as those two previous versions, but it's much better defensively. So if you're going to use this guy as a left back, or if you're going to use him as in a kind of central midfield where you give him any kind of defensive responsibility, you might be pleased to have that kind of improvement on his defensive attributes. But it just depends what you like, because like I say, technically he's not as good as a couple of previous versions. Looking down at the skills before we mess around with his attributes, eFootball Hub is playing up. He does not have long range curler, but he does have long range shooting, and he does have through passing as well, quite crucially. So a couple of skill moves there, and then with his shooting, got long range shooting, knuckle shot, dipping shot, and with his passing, one touch pass, does have through passing and weighted pass. Outside curl is a nice one, and then he's got acrobatic clearance. If you use this guy as a left back, you're going to need interception. Very important one to have. You might want to put one or two more defensives on him as well, but certainly interception I think is crucial if you use him as a left back. But as you'll see, fully boosted, 76 speed. I think most people would agree with me that's too slow at left back. You don't want your left back being that slow. So you would want to shuffle some points around, try and get his speed up. But the problem with that is they put 12 on his lower body already. So every increase beyond that is going to be 4 points per increase. And there aren't many points elsewhere. I think they've only used 4, 8, 12, 14, 16, 18. Yeah. I mean, even if we reset him here, look, you put everything on speed, literally everything on speed, he gets to 82 for speed. Not happening. So, yeah. We'll reset him, go back to the auto allocation. Not quick enough a left back in my opinion. He does have some very good defensive attributes. He would need interception. To be honest, everything looks fantastic as a fullback except speed. That's the only issue is speed and the fact he doesn't have interception. If it wasn't for that, he'd be a great left back as an attacking left back. He's got the fullback finisher playing style, keep in mind. So fullback finisher, he's going to go drifting forward into central areas, getting involved in the build up with the midfielders. Some people might like that. I personally don't. So yeah, as a fullback, in almost every way he's brilliant, but he lacks interception and he's just too slow. But in terms of his other positions, could you play him as a left winger? Similar situation to Perišić, to be honest. You would need to put pinpoint crossing on him as a left footer on the left, but if you gave this guy pinpoint crossing, looking at his attributes, tidy on the ball, good passing, and that 88 lofted pass, 86 curl, and 93 kicking power, you could give this guy really good crossing. If we take away the defensive points, the points in defending and aerial, bearing in mind we're looking at him as a winger now. As a winger, straight away I'm going to nudge his passing up, 90 for lofted pass. Gets dribbling up. In fact, we need more dexterity on him. Don't want to take anything away from speed, even though there's a lot of points on there. I don't know. I think the one concern for me as a winger is the attacking awareness. Oh, I'd like him to have more speed as well. So it's a bit of a shame. We've got two pretty important attributes in the winger that are a bit too low for me. Maybe even nick a couple off dribbling, or even just one, get him up to the 70 mark. I'll just do that, I think. So left wing, still attacking awareness isn't brilliant. We at least get it to the 70 mark. Tidy on the ball. He's going to have a really good, he's good at passing, really good at passing, but with the crossing, 90 lofted pass, 86 goal, 92 kicking power, fantastic crossing. If you give him pinpoint crossing, he'll still have a good cross as it is, but pinpoint crossing will just really polish off his crossing and make it absolutely brilliant. And he'll have a brilliant cross on him. So again, like with Perišić, he'll be a winger who doesn't have a great deal of pace, but you're just going to want to get him on the ball and whip some really good crosses in there. But he does have really nice passing and outside curler, so can easily come inside and play some nice passes forward as well from the left wing. And then as a centre midfielder, to be honest, I don't think I'll do much differently from the way that the points are allocated here from what we've just done. I don't think you really need to shuffle much around. He's got great passing, he's tidy on the ball, he's got a bit of defensive ability. I would give him interception as a centre midfielder as well. And then the speed, not so important as a centre midfielder, but great acceleration, great kicking power. Balance 94, stamina 94. He's got a lot of great attributes. It's just a shame whatever position you play him in, there's one or two attributes that are just a bit too low. But I think out of all his positions as a centre midfielder, with the passing attributes, one-touch pass, through passing, weighted pass, outside curler, he does have long-range shooting as well, with really good kicking power. The finishing attributes not too high, but with that kicking power being so high and those shooting skills, you could have a shot on him as well. So I think of all these three positions, I wouldn't risk him as a left back with a lack of pace. As a left midfielder, the lack of pace is a bit of a concern. I'd like more attacking awareness, but he could potentially be a really nice left midfielder. As a centre midfielder, I think that's where he's most effective. I think with the ability he's got, really nice passing, a little bit of defensive ability, some great athletic attributes there, even if the pace isn't too high, and he's technically very tidy on the ball. Depending how you use him, he could be a really interesting one. Like I say, he's a bit different to the previous versions. Depends whether what you consider the most important, which area of these attributes. You might consider him disappointing compared to those other previous versions, but you might prefer this one, I don't know. But yeah, in any position, one or two real disappointments, but ultimately he does have a lot of qualities, and if he does suit you, and if the strengths are things that work with you and the way that you play the game, he could be your kind of player. It could be a very good card. Not for everyone, though. Next up is Manuel Akanji. So we've had a couple slightly higher rated, and we've had a couple slightly lower rated. So he's kind of middle of the road, this version of Akanji. We've had some very good form there with him at Man City. Doesn't have unwavering form, but with a lot of A's and B's, that's good. He's a destroyer centre-back. He's only got that one position he can play. And if we look at him fully boosted, as you can see, he's got a lot of strengths, he's got a lot of qualities. There's only one concern with this guy for me. At defensive engagement, it's a bit on the low side. It's not disastrously low. 85 is not too bad, but I would like it to be a bit higher. It's a bit frustrating. Destroyer playing style, I don't personally like that too much. I don't mind the destroyer as long as I've got one build up alongside him. I don't like my centre back stepping forward too much. I like them holding their position, being a bit more reserved in their kind of movement. But yeah, if you don't mind a destroyer, like I say, loads of qualities here. It's just the engagement's a little bit low, but in terms of shuffling points around, I wouldn't want to go any lower with the engagement. The physical contact, I don't think that's quite as high as I would like, but I think mid 80s is at least okay. Jump at 89 is good. Pace is decent enough for a centre back. Stamina likewise. Down the left here, ball control is pretty much what you'd expect for a centre back. It's not too bad. Dribbling type possession dodgy. I'll just be careful on the ball with him, but you kind of expect this on a centre back. Nice to have that low pass at the 70 mark. If we look down at the skills, these are accurate. So there's no errors here, nothing missing from here, and there's nothing here that he doesn't have. So he's got heading and aerial superiority. Then you've got man marking, interception, blocker, acrobatic clearance. I think the only one you'd really want defensively that's not there is sliding tackle, maybe fighting spirit as well. Weighted pass, a nice bonus on a centre back, and he does have 71 low pass, only 69 lofted pass, but it's not too bad. Yeah, on the whole, it's really just a solid centre back. There's not a lot to really say. He's only got that one position. I don't think there's a lot you could do in terms of shuffling points around. I'll probably just leave it as it is. I think ultimately it just comes down to that engagement and the play style. If you like a destroyer, you don't mind the engagement being a bit low, it could be a really solid centre back card to pick up. For me personally, I would just be a little bit anxious about that engagement, just whether he'd always be in the right position at the right time. But outside of that slight concern, you know, he's had some very good form for Man City, and all the other attributes really are pretty good, and he's got a good skill set. So yeah, it's a good solid centre back card, this. And now we have a dummy runner. So we had a couple of dummy runners in the worldwide pack that we just looked at in the last video. That was Hwang and Superchai. And now we have Brennan Johnson from Spurs. He's a dummy runner as well. So some pretty erratic form here, and he's not got unwavering form. So slight concern over the form. This guy is one of these cards. It's going to come down to the playing style. If you like a dummy runner, it could be a very interesting one to look at and maybe pick him up. If you don't like the dummy runner playing style, it's probably not going to be for you. If we look at him fully boosted, as you can see, he's got some qualities. He's rapid. He's pretty good on the ball as well. End product, possibly a question mark there. Depends how you use him. With an SS and especially a dummy runner, there's different ways you can use him. It comes down to how you use him. There's no correct way to train him. And what might be a concern, maybe with the passing, for example, for me, I might say the passing is a bit low. The way you use a dummy runner, it might not be an issue. Depends how you're going to use him. He's got a bunch of positions as well. So if we have a look down here at his skills, we have a bit of an issue where through passing is not actually one of his skills. So he doesn't have through passing. Outside of that, he's got all the rest. So he's got first line shot, one touch pass, two important ones to have. Rising shots, penalties, gamesmanship, fighting spirit. The important ones are first time shot and one touch pass. Would be nice if he had through passing, depending where you play him. For me personally, as an attack midfielder, as you can see, if you kind of auto allocate him as an attack midfielder, that passing is not great. I would not consider him as an attacking midfielder. You would have to shuffle points around. Could we shuffle the points around and make him decent there? Let's just have a quick look. Might as well find out. Maybe you could. You could do that. You would need to give him through passing, and he would be playing without an active playing style because dummy runner is not active at attacking midfield. But you can get his low pass into the mid 80s. So if you gave him through passing, and if you really want to use this guy as an attacking mid, with a lot of pace for an attacking mid, pretty nice on the ball. Balance is decent enough. Attacking awareness is good. Finishing still mid 70s. Could be usable as an attacking mid. So that is an option, I guess, if you gave him through passing. On the right, again, we'll do the auto allocation as a right midfielder. As you can see, lofted pass only going up to 78. Would it be good as a right midfielder? I'm not so sure. He doesn't have pinpoint crossing, no outside curler, no through passing. I'm not sure he's really at his best playing wide right. I know in real life he does play there. He's certainly got some of the attributes you want in terms of that great pace. His dribbling should be pretty good. Decent balance. Pretty good attacking awareness for a wide man. The passing, low pass is decent for a wide man, but like I say, if he's a right footer playing on the right and he's not really got the ability to come inside, he's one-footed, no outside curler. Even with pinpoint crossing, I don't think his crossing would be great. So for me personally, yes, some really good qualities as a right winger, but I don't think he's quite got everything he needs to play that role. So I'm looking at him in the two positions where dummy runner is an active playing style. You've got centre forward, you've got SS. So if we go back to the auto allocation on his registered position for SS, would I do much? if you nick a couple from dribbling, can we get that passing up to 80? Yes. Be nice if we get his kicking power up to 80. Can we nick a bit of shooting, maybe? Yeah, get a kicking power to 80. We've got 4 points left. Where are they going? Maybe just stick my shooting, to be honest. Yeah, as an SS, I think he's pretty tidy as a dummy runner. So a dummy runner, again, with a dummy runner, their runs are going to be starting from the middle, and then they're going to go drifting out wide into the channels. They're going to take a defender with them, and that opens up spaces in the middle. That's the kind of the key to a dummy runner. That's what they're going to do. And like I say, it depends how you use them. If you want to focus on them taking a defender out of the middle and then playing the ball into the middle to their teammates who are there, you know, the other forwards you've got there, or if you like them to drift out wide and then you get them involved in the build up out wide, work some triangles around the fullback, get them on the ball. Like I say, it depends how you use them. You might want them to be good at passing. You might just want them to drift out wide and then make use of the players who are in those spaces in the middle, in which case it might not matter to you how good they are at passing and so on. But as an SS, like I say, if you build him like this, I think this is a pretty good build as an SS. The pace, the dribbling, and then with his passing and finishing, he's got a bit of end product as well. He's got one-touch passing, first-time shot. Maybe he needs through passing as well. I don't know. Maybe long-range curler, when he makes those runs as a dummy runner, he might drift over to the left, in which case coming back inside on his right foot, long-range curler would help. But yeah, depending on how you use him, with the attributes he's got, he could be a pretty effective SS. Could be pretty neat. Comparing him to the two in the other pack, not too dissimilar to Hwang. A little bit different to Superchai. He's got a bit more pace and technical ability than Superchai, although Superchai has a bit more attacking awareness and finishing. And if you use this guy as a centre forward, can you get the awareness and finishing high enough? In my opinion, not really. Great pace there. You see with the acceleration going up to 98, but 85 awareness, 83 finishing. Is that good enough to make him a centre forward? In my opinion, no. I think as a dummy runner, best off just sticking with SS and build him similar to what I just showed you, shuffling those points around. So yeah, ultimately I think it comes down to the dummy runner playing style. There are different ways you could use him. You could have him wide right if you don't mind the fact he's not great at crossing and he's one-footed. I wouldn't personally use him there. You could chain him as an AMF if you give him through passing and shuffle the points around to make his passing better. I don't think he's quite got up a centre forward, but as an SS, if you like the dummy runner playing style, he's got some qualities, and he could be a decent one to pick up. There has been a Player of the Week version. I forgot to mention, there's been a Player of the Week version that was better as a centre forward. I think it was a deep lying forward. So if you like him as a striker, that Player of the Week card was a better one. And there was a kind of pay to win one in one of those legend boxes that went up to 95, whereas this goes to 93 before the boost. So there have been two versions that were better, but yeah, like I say, a few ways you can use him, especially as an SS. Could be a pretty neat one to pick up, and with a dummy runner playing style, he's certainly a bit different. Next up is Rasmus Højlund. So we've got another Højlund card from Man U. Again, some fairly erratic live update there, and he doesn't have unwavering form, so a bit of a concern with the live update. We've had one better version in one of those legend pay-to-win boxes, but outside of that, all the previous kind of special versions of Højlund have been around sort of 93, 94, so he's pretty much on that same kind of level. Only significant difference really with the previous versions is there's one in the Man U pack. Wasn't too different in terms of ability, but that was the one version of Højlund we've had where he's two-footed. This guy, like all the other versions, he's kind of got an okay weaker foot. He doesn't use it very often, so somewhat one-footed, but that one from the Man U pack had a high strength and frequency of usage on his weaker foot. He's very two-footed, that one, interestingly. But yeah, back to the normal weaker foot situation with this Højlund. And like I say, he's pretty much par for the course with the previous versions. We look at him fully boosted. Got great awareness at 90. On the ball, not brilliant. Passing, not brilliant. Finishing, would like it to be a bit better. But he's rapid. He's physically strong. So he's got some qualities there. If we have a little look down at the skills, there's just one thing missing from here. He has chip shot control as well as these. First time shot, the most important one. Heel trick and acrobat finishing, useful ones to have as well for a striker. So yeah, he's a very much a poacher. Goal poacher with pace, awareness, bit of physical strength. The balance isn't too bad at 79. Would we be able to get some of these attributes a bit higher? The question is, where do you take the points away from? The most points have been used on dexterity, but that's to get his attacking awareness up to 90, and I wouldn't want to dip below that. Outside of that, where do you get points from? I wouldn't really want to take any away from aerial. I mean, do you need the ability, the jumping, the physical contact? Is he great in the air? He's not great in the air. He's not got heading. His jumping's not that high. If you're not going to be putting crosses in, you could maybe nick those 4 points away. And then where'd you put him? Make him a bit better on the ball, get his ball control and dribbling both up to 80. You might think that's worthwhile. Or you could maybe get his kicking power and speed up to 90. I think most people would probably prefer that. Yeah, not a lot else you can do. You're a little bit limited. I don't think I'd shuffle too many points around. Like I say, there's just nowhere really to get the points away from to boost him in the areas where you'd like to get him a bit higher. But certainly, he's got qualities, and it depends what you look for on a striker. But if you like a goal poacher, who's going to be rapid, have good awareness, and be able to get him behind, the finishing is still a little bit on the low side, but using him that way as a goal poacher, he could be very effective. That pace is important on a goal poacher, running behind the defence, and the awareness certainly. He could be worse on the ball as well for a big man, but yeah. One or two areas of concern. He might not have the strengths that you would like in a striker. For me personally, on a goal poacher, he's got the most important ones with the awareness and pace, but the finishing is quite important. Obviously, some would argue that's the most important attribute on a striker. If you're careful with his finish, you can get away with it. I would like it to be higher. I personally would like it to be a bit better on the ball, his passing to be a bit better. But if you're not too bothered about those things, you're more concerned about the areas where he's strong, pace, the kicking power as well, and he's physically strong. The balance would be nice if it was a bit higher, but again, he's a big, tall guy. He's got great pace. He's got physical strength. I think you can get away with the balance not being higher than that. If the strengths work for you, it could be a good card for you. Like I say, he's pretty much on the par of most versions of Højlund that we've had in the past. And if he works for you, it could be a good striker to pick up. Next, we have Frimpong from the Netherlands. So we have a fullback finisher. That playing style is not for me as a fullback. Some people like it, some don't. A fullback finisher, playing at right back or left back. They're going to be getting forward, but not just getting up and down the flank. They're going to drift inside and get involved in the build-up in the midfield. So there is that risk they could vacate the position and leave you a bit exposed in the fullback area. So for me personally, I don't like that. But if you like that, it could be a card for you. In terms of previous versions, it's the joint best version we've had of Frimpong. Joint with a one from the one of those legend pay-to-win boxes. Went to about the same level. The only real difference between this one and that one is that that version previously had a bit more pace than this one, a bit more kicking power and balance as well, whereas this one has a couple of better defending attributes, and he's also a bit better with his lofted pass and his finishing. So yeah, a few higher, a few lower compared to that previous one if you got that one, but ultimately pretty much the same on the whole, and it's pretty clear what you're looking at here. Even before the game plan boost, you're looking at crazy pace, really good stamina, but then a little bit up and down in other areas. So let's look at him fully boosted. As you can see, he is absolutely rapid. His balance is great. His stamina is fantastic. He's got some decent attributes with his defending and with the technicals, but that's the big concern for me. Defensive engagement 69. Ugh, that scares me, especially on a fullback finisher. You are going to get caught out with this guy defensively. Down the left, I'd like that ball control to be higher. I think you're probably going to notice that, but it's not disastrously bad, and his dribbling and tight possession for a fullback are very nice. And then with his passing, again, they're not disastrously low, but I would like them to be higher, especially lofted pass. Looking down at the skills, he does have pinpoint crossing, but that's just going to compensate for the lofted pass. He's still not going to have great crossing on him, especially when his curl's only 66, kicking power 71. I would make sure if you're going to put crosses in with this guy, I would try to make sure you do stunning crosses as much as possible to try and get that extra pace on your cross, because his kicking power is not great, and the curl's poor, and his lofted pass isn't brilliant. So yeah. Could put a decent cross in now and then, but he's not great at it. So some 1 or 2 question marks with this guy, but with the skills, like I say, he's got pinpoint crossing. I think all these skills are correct, to be honest. I don't see any differences. He's got a few skill moves for the dribblers, soul control as well. He's going to be nice on the ball. For a fullback with that pace and the dribbling 84, he should be pretty nice on the ball. He's also then got acrobatic finishing on first time shot. So yeah, as a fullback finisher, if he gets into attacking positions, he could have a shot on him, although the finishing attribute is not too high. And then at the bottom, gamesmanship, okay, that might make up for the fact he's physically weak and quite small, win you some free kicks. And then interception, crucial one for a fullback, very important. You might still want to put 1 or 2 more defensive skills on him. I personally would think maybe his one-touch pass and through passing would be worthwhile, with his low pass being a little bit on the low side. It's not too bad, but still, especially in a fullback finisher getting up into the midfield, passing is going to be quite important in those areas. So yeah, would I shuffle the points around? Yes, but the problem with this is, the first place you're looking around thinking, okay, where are the most points? Where can we free some points up? The most points have been put on lower body, and he's got a real excess of speed and stamina. But the problem with that is that lower body also includes kicking power. Do you want his kicking power going down to the 60s? No, you don't. Kicking power is quite important with your passing, with your shooting. But we need that defensive engagement high. This is the problem. You're going to have one attribute going too low to make sure another one goes high enough. So you can't quite balance them out. It's a difficult one, this card. If you did say the kicking power is not too important, if you're just going to be careful with that, you could go right the way down here to just 6 on lower body. And then with the defending, up to 12, we've got 4 points left. I want that passing higher. You could either go too high on the passing, get his low pass to 80, and then stick one on maybe his dexterity or something. In fact, you don't really need any dexterity. So let's get his dribbling up. Yeah, right, I'll do that on him. So then you get the ball control up to 80. Now his dribbling and tight possession 88, 89. Low passes up to 80. The defensive is looking much nicer. The awareness up to 80. Defensive engagement into the 70s. It's still poor, but at least into the 70s. You've still got great pace. Still got good balance. You've still got great stamina. The kicking power for me now, that's the only major concern. The engagement is still a bit too low. I would like the lofted pass to be a bit higher as well. That kicking power as well at 65. So like I say, whatever you do, there's 1 or 2 areas of concern with this guy. It's pretty frustrating. So for some people, if you want to play a fullback finisher and you just want to focus on his attacking ability, you don't really mind too much about the defensive side of things, he could be a really fun one to pick up. Like I say, especially if you're a dribbler with the pace, the dribbling ability, a few skill moves, could be a really fun one to pick up. Could glide past opponents. But yeah, defensively, if you want your fullbacks to be able to be stronger defensively, you're not sure he's going to be quite your cup of tea. Could be a good wing back. If you play him at right midfield, fullback finisher playing style won't be active, so you won't be drifting inside as much. As a wing back with a bit of everything, could be pretty nice. I would put 1 or 2 passing skills on him, but good on the ball. Defensively, not so important that he's lacking in engagement. If you play him as a wing back, it's not as important, so you could be fine there. Got the pace, got the stamina, good balance. Again, the kicking power is always going to be an issue, but as a wing back, could be very effective. As an out-and-out right midfielder, well, you've got a lot of points you can take away from defending if you're going to just use him as a winger. What we're going to do as a winger. How good can we make him? Fairly decent, actually. So it's still, his crossing still won't be great, even with pinpoint crossing, but it will be better. We've made him even better on the ball now. Dribbling and tight possession, hitting the 90 mark. Low pass up to 83. Insane pace. Great balance. Good stamina. Got the attacking rates up to 78. You could use him as a right winger, but as a right footer on the right, without better passing ability, without better crossing ability, I'm not sure it's really the best use of him. Certainly for dribblers with the skill moves and all these attributes, playing him in a more advanced role, you'd be gliding past defenders with the pace and the dribbling. It could be a really fun one to use there. It would just be a question of the end product. So yeah, a few ways you could use him down the right. Fullback, wingback, right midfield. Whichever way you use him, there's 1 or 2 areas of real concern. But he does have a lot of real qualities with the pace and the dribbling especially. So depending what you think is important out of the attributes, what you want your wingers, your wingbacks, or your fullbacks to be good at, he could be one as a really fun card to pick up. But there are 1 or 2 areas of real concern, whichever way you use him. So yeah, some pros and cons to this guy, but it could be a really fun card for a lot of people to have. We've got a goalkeeper now, and we've got Donnarumma. So if you're not prepared to dip into your life savings and spin that Liga and Showtime pack they've just released, here's an alternative. And it's not a bad one, to be fair. I'm going to get straight to it. Fully boosted. He's good, but the awareness is the one concern for me. Jumping's not great. Hang on, that might just be eFootball playing up. Yeah, it is slightly, but yeah. Still not brilliant, but I think on a guy as tall as Donnarumma, about 6'5", that jumping's okay for me. Awareness, the one concern. Catching, not brilliant, could be worse. Parrying, good at 89. Reflexes, 94 is fantastic. Reach of 90 on a guy 6'5". He's got fantastic coverage of his goal. Doesn't have unwavering form, but most of his form has been decent at PSG. The skills down here, low punt, long throw, penalty saver, those are correct. So the only question really is, if you're happy with that auto allocation of points, solid keeper, just a slight question mark over the awareness. I picked up a Player of the Week version of Donnarumma. I forget if it was a Champions League one or one of those standard Player of the Week ones. And it was a similar situation to this. Some really good attributes, but his awareness was, I think, 85. I only used him. I used him maybe 3 or 4 times. A couple of times in co-op, a couple of times 1v1. And he dropped a clanger in almost every game I used him in, so I released him. I don't know if that was the awareness. I imagine it probably was. So if I pick this guy up, I'm going to try and shuffle some points so I can get the awareness up. So if you're like me and you want that awareness to be higher, take those 4 off jumping straight away. He's a giant, so that doesn't concern me. And as we know from Player of the Week packs, goalies don't need to be able to jump, do they? According to Konami. And then I would nick 3 off there. I won't go below 80 for catching, but that means we can get it up to 90 for awareness. And with 1 point left, that is going to go on... Stick it back on aerial. So it's almost at the 80 mark for jumping still. But awareness up to 90. Catching at 80 is now the one concern we've got, but that's not as big a concern for me as awareness. So I prefer him this way. Parrying up to 89 is good. Reflex is 91. It's not as high as it was, but still over 90. And then reach at 90 still. For me personally, it's more of a well-rounded build. I'll be much more comfortable with this guy having 90 for goalkeeper awareness, even if we sacrificed a few points from elsewhere. I think that's a better build. You've got a good goalkeeper card here. Whichever way you build him, depending what you're concerned with about whichever one of these attributes is a bit low, I'm a lot more comfortable with the catching being low than I am the awareness being a bit lower than I wanted it to be. So yeah, depending how you build him, I think for a lot of people, he seems to be one of these goalkeepers, he divides opinion. A lot of people talk about this guy as being one of the worst goalkeepers to play against because he just gets in the way of everything. Other people hate him because they've got him in their team and he's made mistakes. I'm one of them. He certainly can be brilliant at times, but he's like real life. For the most part in real life, he's a formidable keeper. He's brilliant, but he does have those moments where he drops clangers. So that's the concern for me. I would build him like that to try and kind of protect against that risk of him making mistakes. But ultimately, technically, when you look at the attributes, it's a really good Donnarumma card. Obviously, he's not as good as the Showtime one they've just dropped, but yeah, he's a good goalkeeper, whichever way you look at it. And now we have Konaté from Liverpool. So, build-up centre-back, and he's an absolute physical specimen. He's about 6'4", 6'5", 95 kilograms. Crazy high physical contact. He's a beast physically. He's pretty much on a par with the one that we've just had in the recent Premier League pack. Not a lot of difference at all between this one and that one. And that's about as good as I think we've had from Konaté. Got unwavering form, which is nice. He's had a few weeks of B form on top of that. So form was looking pretty solid. In terms of the attributes, do I change much around? If we look at him fully boosted, I mean, defensively, he's fantastic down the middle there. Low and lofted pass, both hitting 70. For a big physical guy, the pace is okay. He's not rapid by any means, but it's okay. Physical is crazy. Jumping 78. That's my one concern. The balance is horrible as well, but you expect that on a big, massive guy like Konaté. Can we get that jumping higher? Well, we look down the skills first. These skills are correct. So, weighted pass is nice. Then we've got man marking, interception, acrobatic clearance, aerial superiority. There we go. Sliding tackle. I think the one skill that you'd really want to put him is blocker. Maybe you'd want heading as well. Fully boosted with 79 for heading. Yeah, I think heading was probably worth putting on him if you're going to get this guy and get a lot of use out of him. The most important one is blocker. I think that's an important skill for a centre-back. So I'll try and get blocker on him, but he does have aerial superiority. So that makes up for his jumping being low a little bit. 6'4", 6'5". You don't need too much jumping with aerial superiority, but I'd still like it to be higher. Let's try and hit the 80 mark. So I think it's pretty easy where you're going to get the points from. Nick him off defending, still 90 plus in all of them. 2 extra on aerial. Boom, up to 80 for jumping. 99 physical contact. You're not going to mess with this guy. Where do those 2 points go? Speed, dexterity. We'll stick him on dexterity because his balance is horrible. So his balance has just jumped up to 60 at least. Yeah, this is a really good solid centre-back. Build up, physical specimen, 90 personalised defensives. Physical contact's insane. He's going to be bullying some people physically. With his height and aerial superiority, the fact he's only got 80 for jumping is not too big of a concern. He's still going to be pretty strong in the air. And for such a big physical guy, I think his pace is okay. By no means electric, but okay. And his passing, along with weighted pass down there, I think he's got decent passing for a centre-half. So yeah, for a big physical centre-back, build-up playing style, this is a very good solid centre-back. Now we have Kevin De Bruyne. So we've had a couple of slightly better versions of De Bruyne. There's a Legend box had one in there. And there was a Showtime one as well. Both those slightly better than this. They went up to, I think, 98. Most of the others are 96, 97 though. So this is pretty much par for the course. It's a pretty good version of De Bruyne. And from the attributes you see here, we'll go straight to that boost. Fully boosted. It's what you'd expect from De Bruyne. Technically, he's brilliant. He's got end product. He's going to be tidy on the ball. Really, really good passing. Good attack awareness as well. And over on the right, he's just not brilliant athletically, but I mean, the acceleration's okay. Fantastic kicking power. Balance is decent enough. Stamina's okay. It's just that speed, really. If you don't mind the lack of speed as an attacking midfielder, could be brilliant for you. I wouldn't use him as centre mid. I think that's a waste of his attacking ability, having him too deep on the pitch. You want him up and getting into that final third and creating for you there, and scoring goals as well. But as an attacking midfielder, creative playmaker, yeah, if you don't mind a slight lack of speed, I think this guy is absolutely brilliant. Would I shuffle the points around? I'm not sure. Let's just look at the skills first. In terms of the skills he's got, he does not have long-range curler, but he does have long-range shooting, and he also has through passing, of course. So one-touch pass, through passing, weighted pass. Got pinpoint crossing as well. Outside curler's nice. Soul control's nice. Low lofted pass. Yeah, get this guy on the ball. Technically, he's brilliant. I think most of us know by now would have tried out some version of De Bruyne. He's technically a brilliant attacking midfielder. He's got all kinds of end product. But yeah, in terms of shuffling points around, would I? Probably. If you don't mind the speed being where it is, leave that at 4 on lower body. And then it'd just be kind of nice if we get the finishing and dribbling up to 90, to be honest. We nick a few off passing and see if we can do that. Where were we? The dribbling, wasn't it? 1 on dribbling. And then shooting. Bosh. We got 1 spare. Where's that going to go? Stick on area or whatever. No, he gets physical contact up to 70. I'll do that. So if you don't mind the lack of speed, you could nudge his dribbling up to 90. You can get his finishing up to 80. Still got really nice passing. Looking at all these over 90, and then that awareness well into the 80s, finishing 80 with long range shooting, crazy kicking power. He can score goals, he can create goals, he's going to be great on the ball. That could be a nice build for him. If the speed is a concern, you take a bit off that dribbling. How much speed could we give this guy? Get it up to 8. I don't think it's worth taking too many points away from elsewhere to get him much higher, to be honest. I would probably just do that. So a bit more speed. I mean, still loads of 90 plus attributes here. Really good awareness, still good finishing. Bit more speed about him, still 80 acceleration, crazy kicking power. Whichever way you do it, it's really, ultimately, it's just another version of Kevin De Bruyne. There's not a great deal to say. He's had some good form there when he was fit. Form is unwavering. Rumours he might go to Saudi Arabia this summer would be a shame because then he won't be getting any more live update. But outside of that possible downside with the form, looking at the attributes, like I say, it's just another version of De Bruyne. It's not the best one we've had. We've had a couple of slightly better ones, but whichever way you tweak these points around, he's technically fantastic. Going forward, he's got everything you want, really. It's just whether you're bothered about him not being the quickest, but I think for most people, with the Kevin De Bruyne card, it won't be too big of a concern. It's a really, really good card. And we finish up with Florian Wirtz. So, first thing with this guy, I said it when I reviewed the last one. He doesn't have unwavering form, and he's not going to be getting any live update playing in the Bundesliga. If he joins another club this summer, it's possible he could end up getting live update, but as he is, he won't be getting any, albeit they seem to be giving live update to players for their national teams. So he will occasionally get live update on that basis, which is great. That's a big improvement they made. In terms of previous versions, so we've had... this is the joint best in terms of the overall rating, but there was a Showtime that went to the same overall rating before you activated the booster. So with the booster activated on the Showtime card, it was a bit better than this one. There was a previous Germany one that was a left midfielder, so I had the left midfielder position added, but other than that, in terms of the attributes and skills, was pretty much the same as this one. There was also a Leverkusen player of the week one from I think about a year or so ago. About longer than that, in fact, because that was when Leverkusen were a partner club. That only went to 94, but it was a centre forward. So that had a centre forward position and it had a deep line forward playing style. The attributes on that card made it actually, in my opinion, slightly better than this one. So there was that one as well. So this isn't the best version of Wirtz by any means, but it's still a good version of him. If you don't have a good version of him and you want one, it's certainly a good card. Looking at the attributes, we'll look at him fully boosted. As you can see, fantastic on the ball. He's got really good passing. He's got good finishing, great attacking awareness. He's not got electric pace, but the acceleration is very good. He's going to be very responsive. Balance is good as well. Not brilliant kicking power, not brilliant stamina. On a whole player, that stamina is a bit poor. He's going to be getting tired, so you're going to end up having to sub him off. Looking down at the skills, where are we? So we're just missing 3. So a couple of skill moves there. Soul control is nice. Got one touch pass, got pinball crossing, but the ones we're missing that he does actually have, this is just eFootball being wrong. He also has through passing, which is a crucial one, and he also has chip shot control and long range curler. So one touch pass and through passing is fantastic. Pinpoint crossing, you could play him on the right. He's got reasonable lofty pass. He won't have brilliant crossing, but he won't be too bad. So playing him on the right as a right footer with pinpoint crossing could have an okay cross on him, but I'm not sure most people would want to use him there wide right. I think we want to make the most of this guy as a whole player, because the whole player playing style won't be active as a wide forward. It will be an active playing style there. So whole player attacking midfielder. As you can see from those numbers, it's telling you goes to about 100 rated. That's how good he is. Being as good as he is on the ball, being very responsive, having the passing ability, the finishing ability, and the attacking awareness that goes really well with that whole player playing style. As an attacking midfielder, could be really, really nice. Would you shuffle some of the points around? It's probably worth nicking a few points here and there. You can get that passing up to 90 would be nice. Beyond that, would you do much? I'm not sure I would, to be honest. I mean, you could nick even more off his dribbling and make him quicker. But even then, it's not made a lot of difference to his dribblings, to his pace. So maybe it's better just leaving him there and just leaving him being brilliant on the ball. I think most of the dribblers certainly would like that. In fact, it'd be nice to get his attacking awareness to 90. That'd be a bit sneaky. Should we do that? Yes. Oof. Tell you what. Yeah, I think that's what I'd do. As an attacking midfielder, that's fantastic attacking awareness for a whole player attacking midfielder. Still fantastic on the ball. It's got really nice passing with one-touch passing, through passing. 85 for finishing is nice. You can maybe put first-time shot, long range shooting on him, make the most of it. Again, he's not the quickest, but he's got great acceleration, got really good balance. As I mentioned, it's not the best version of Wirtz we've had, but it's still a good one. If you don't have a good version of him and you want one, this could be a really nice card to pick up. As an attacking midfielder, yeah, it looks fantastic, to be honest. So there you go, that's that pack. It's a bit of a mixed bag for me. You got quite a few cards in there where we've had better versions previously. So I think for a lot of people, they might have better versions already, and it'll be a bit of a disappointment. But if you're looking at these cards in isolation, depending on how you use them, they could be good ones. You know, Perišić, Guerreiro, they're cards who've got weaknesses and they're not brilliant all around. But if the strengths that they've got suit the way you play, they could be good ones. Akanji's a solid centre back. Johnson's a bit different as a dummy runner. Could be a decent one to pick up for some people. Frimpong, some might love him. The dribblers might really like him. For others like myself, not so much. Højlund, a solid version of him. Konaté, another good solid centre back. Donnarumma, for a lot of people, a good goalkeeper, but for someone like me, not so sure. And then you got a good version of Bruyne, and you got a good version of Wirtz. There have been better versions of both, but if you've not got a good version of either of them, both those cards are fantastic cards. So yeah, it's a mixed bag. I think for some people maybe it's a disappointing pack, but there'll be plenty of people I think looking at this pack and thinking there's some really nice cards in there. So there you go. As I mentioned, I've done a review of the worldwide national team pack as well. That's live on the channel if you want to check it out. Outside of that, I'll see you next on Thursday for hopefully a good player of the week pack. So cheers for watching. Hopefully you found this useful. I'll see you soon.